Deep inside a big anthill lived a tiny ant named Anny. She was just an ordinary little ant doing extraordinary things. You see, every day she would wake up before sunrise and immediately get to work. She would sweep the floor, tidy up the bedrooms, and collect water for the colony. But even though she was very hard-working, Anny felt that what she was doing was not enough. She wanted to do something special, something that would make her colony, her anthill, her home, a better place to live. But she didn't know what that thing was. One day the wise ant came running into the anthill. He was very worried. "Oh my goodness, everyone!" he cried. "There is a big storm coming our way, and we need to be prepared." He explained that during the storm it would rain heavily and continuously for 3 whole days. "If we don't collect enough food before the rain starts, we won't have enough food to last until the sun shines again," he said, his antennae drooping. All the ants got busy at once. The strongest ants went out to collect big grains of wheat and crumbs of bread. The fastest ants raced around, searching every nook and corner of their territory. And the tiniest ants, who were too weak to carry any food, gathered in groups and started digging deep inside the anthill. They were making tunnels and chambers to store all the food they would find. Anny also wanted to help, but she was too small to carry big grains of wheat or crumbs of bread. The other ants were bigger and stronger than her, so they went out into the world to look for food. Anny was left behind with the other tiny ants, and they all started digging and burrowing. "I want to help too," she said to the other ants. "I don't want to just sit here while you all go out and do something important." The other ants looked at her and laughed. "You're too small to carry any food," one of them said. "And besides, it's too dangerous outside. You could get lost or get eaten by a bird or a frog," another one said. But Anny refused to give up. She wanted to help her colony, and she knew that she had to do something. So when no one was looking, she snuck out of the anthill and started looking for food. She walked past bushes and trees, over rocks and logs, and finally she saw it, a field full of ripe wheat. "Oh, perfect," she said. "This will be enough food for the whole colony." But as she got closer, she realized that the wheat grains were very big. Still, she managed to carry one in her mouth and started walking back home. But the grain was so heavy that after a few steps, she had to put it down. She looked around to see if anyone had noticed her, but luckily, no one had. So she started pushing the grain with all her might. Slowly but surely, she moved it a few inches, then a few feet, then a few yards. But just when she thought she could make it, a strong wind blew and a big leaf came flying. It landed on her and pinned her underneath. Anny struggled to free herself, but the leaf was too big and too heavy. Just when she lost all hope, she heard a voice. "Hey, what are you doing there?" Another ant had spotted her and was now helping her lift the leaf. Soon, more ants arrived, and together they managed to push the wheat all the way to the anthill. When the first raindrops fell from the sky, they all rushed inside, panting and exhausted. "Look what I found!" Anny cried. "We have so much wheat, we will have food for the whole colony." The wise ant smiled. "Thank you, Anny," he said. "You are the bravest little ant I know." And indeed, thanks to Anny's determination and teamwork, the ant colony survived the storm and lived happily ever after. Moral of the story, even the smallest ones can make a big difference. If we are determined and if we work together, we can achieve anything.